What's up, y'all? Happy Wednesday, Buck fans. It's not Wagon Wednesday, it's Buck Wednesday. That's what I'm talking about right now. Welcome to another great episode of Bucs Report, the Aftermath, 102.9 The Game, Broad Street South Radio. It's one of your hosts, AJ Turner. I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you got your popcorn. I hope you got your rum. I hope you got your bandana. I hope you got your blade. I hope you got them cannons because we're about to fire off tonight. And we are expanding. If you haven't already, look at me on TikTok because I always represent the Bucs Report on there as well, where we discuss football. We talk topics. For the past few weeks, it's been on a bum-ass Eagles team. I said what I said because they feelings for whatever reason. They want all this respect, even though we've already given them respect. But no, in reality, we talk football on there, but you got to be a little clean over there. But so for anybody else out there who's watching that might know somebody on TikTok that's been talking shit, this is where you come. You can be right here. You look, we do no discrimination here. You can drop all the F-bombs you want. You can say stupid shit. That don't mean we won't correct you, but this is where you want to be. Bucs Report, the Aftermath. If you want to be on here and talk your shit, again, we talk about the game, then our team. We are fans of the game of football, then our Bucs team. So, with no further ado, let's bring in aka the British guys always fly on standby, Coach Slick. And again, show your support for this coach. They are still undefeated right now. And check out that YouTube video I got on my YouTube channel. Give Coach Slick an opportunity. We want to bring him over here to the States permanently with a job with the Bucs as a defensive coach. Bowles.
Yes, sir. That's the dream, right? It's the dream. Look, oh man, so how you been? How you been? How's life treating you in this Bucs world right now?
Oh man, life is good. We in OTAs. So for everybody out there bitching about the Hassan Reddick situation, he's here. Everybody who's supposed to be here is here. So calm down. Like Slick said, it's off season. It's boring. It was June. Nobody, they had nothing to talk about.
It's mainly for the rookies and the new and some maybe some acquisitions that are a bit like. So if you had a quarterback, you're bringing a new quarterback into the fold. You probably want to get them up to speed quite quickly, you know. So it's voluntary, man, and I don't know why people get so fucking bent out of shape over it. It's not like it's a fucking. I think it's because the alarm bells came because he'd done this before with another team, but he didn't turn up to anything. I don't think. I think he pretty much rocked in middle of preseason, maybe.
And again, the Jets were not as functional as we are, and besides,
he got traded there as well. He didn't want to go there.
He didn't want to go there because he knew there was going to be some bullshit there. So I look at it like this. Hassan is just trying to get his head right. Like all these young guys, they just want to get themselves ready because he knows this is his last shot to make the big bucks. And you're on an opportunity with this. You have an opportunity with a great team. So why would he take advantage of that? He knows what is at stake. It's millions on the line, ladies and gentlemen. He's ready. And
how much do the Bucs want him to pan out knowing that they don't have to go and draft a guy?
There you go. That's what it's about right there. We got the dude in here coming in a little bit, but that's the point, ladies and gentlemen. Bucs fans, relax, calm down. There's been also other talks in the Bucs community where we were discussing the Chris Godwin situation. Guys, I love Chris Godwin. We want him to be healthy, but remember, folks, it's chess. We're playing chess, not checkers. We don't need him early. If they say, oh, well, what if he doesn't start week 1? Beautiful. That just means he's given time to rest. We want to see what a Mecca can do anyway. We want to see what Jalen McMillan. We want to see what the young guys can do for this team. Jalen has got to
rush a guy back. We don't rush a guy back. Guess what? He's just ready to go towards the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And I think the Mecca Buka situation is a good one because it means you're probably not going to burn the reps out of them as well. And you got to remember, a lot of people don't realize this. The slot position is the one that gets banged up the most because they run between the backers, they run between the nickels who are thicker, like basically as thick as some safeties. They can take a pounding here and there. So it's a tough place to be. But it's the run game or what have you. It's a tough place to be. It's not as simple as everyone seems to think it is. So
amen. And then also, Buck fans, take a bow. We have a run game now. We don't have to do what we did the past 2 years prior to this. Now we have balance. We have 3 running backs, and I guarantee you this. I'm calling it now, Slick. Sean Tucker is going to be more involved because I think now they understand
he should definitely be more involved because they got to look for an heir incumbent to Rashad, right? Because I don't see Rashad sticking around, not because he doesn't want to be here or whatever. Someone's going to pay him money to go to their squad to compete for a starting role.
Hey, if he can do that, winning the Super Bowl here, I say by all means. Rashad White, if you're out there, if you don't want to stay, just get us a Super Bowl, and I don't give a shit where you go. I will tell them to pay you because if I know you're going to be helping, by all means, and you're right. And that could be another reason, Slick, why they might get the other running backs involved as well. So they don't tread too many tires on the guy. If anything, he might say, hey, look, I'll run between the tackles here and there when necessary. But now that we have Sean Tucker and Bucky, we can maneuver now. We can rotate. We can do things. That is something that I think this offensive coordinator is going to want to do. He's not going to be what Cohen is. I think this year, you've already heard what I said. This year, aggressive. The offense is going to be there. We know this. Baker is hungry. I can see that shit. I love it. Mike Evans already knows he just needs to break Jerry Rice's record, and then he can call it a day. He can just, I don't care if he gets 1,005 yards. That's it. Because we know he's getting 10 plus touchdowns. Slick, he gets 10 more touchdowns. He's tied 6 overall.
I mean, it's a Hall of Fame lock at this point, yeah.
Oh, we know that.
I think he'll go another 2 years after this. I think
if he goes another 2 years, Slick, let's say he just gets 10 touchdowns each season. That's 30 touchdowns. He'll be like number 2 all time.
Yep. I know.
So this is beautiful, y'all. Again, for all we know,
you can't turn around and say the person who's ranked in the top 5 of all time in touchdowns in receiving isn't a Hall of Famer. You can't say it. It's blasphemy.
It is, and it's just not football smart. See, that's another thing, and I want to show this for people out here. Please check out the stream. You get a $10 discount, but most importantly, we want to hear your football logic and knowledge because, Slick, there are a lot of people out there. I'm sorry to say it, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They don't know. They don't know the game like they think they do. They think they know it through fucking Madden or hearing somebody else regurgitating and juggling somebody else's words on TV. One thing I've always said, Slick, before you regurgitate some shit, you better understand what that individual was saying. You need to know. These are the same motherfuckers out here, Slick. If I ask them what's an over and under kind of linebacker, they're not gonna know. What's a 10-1 defensive tackle technique? What's a 3 technique? What's a nose tackle's job? Where does he line up at? I'm sorry to say, when people talk about offensive, Slick, I'll be like, if you can't tell me what the fucking ABC gap is, I'm not going to take you serious. You're outside. Okay. You're fired. Get the fuck out of here. I wouldn't. That's all we're saying, ladies and gentlemen.
You really fuck them up with linebacker techniques. What's a 50 technique? What's a 30 technique?
What defines an edge? What does he do? What is his job? What is what's
here's the one that always fucks people up, and even football smart people struggle with this. Define the alley on a run play.
Please, Slick, explain that to people because apparently everybody thinks that they know something.
Right. So
go ahead.
The alley is the space between the force player and the last spill player. So, for example, let's go with 2 corners, 2 outside backers, 2 ends, and a nose, and then 2 pure linebackers. So your last spill defender is probably going to be your end, and he might be in a 5 technique because you're playing a reduced front. So you're playing a free man front. Your linebackers. I'll put them as off the ball. I'll put them a little bit further back. I'll put them about 3. They're your force. So it's that gap between your force defender and your spill defender. So your last spill defender is your end. That means the gap between the end and the outside linebacker is technically your alley, and that should be what the safety defends.
Boom. I got another one for you, Slick. You'll love this. Is Levante David an on or an off ball linebacker?
I hate the phrase, but he's an off the ball linebacker.
I get you.
Hate that phrase because everyone's technically off the ball.
But a lot of people don't understand the difference.
Yeah.
When you're on the ball, you're basically more than likely an edge. If you're off the ball, you're designed for coverage, pass coverage. Usually, you're going to be usually lined up. You know,
you're. I always describe this, and I think most good defenses do this. When you define what gap a linebacker has, this is what I always find interesting. Linebackers shouldn't have any gaps. The linebacker's gap is the one that appears open.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a gap person because otherwise he's always going to play his A, right? His gap is his keyhole. So he's looking. Let's say you've got him lined up, and he's got the A gap at the beginning. He is looking through the A gap. I would say shoulder tip of the guard, so you can see that rise and fall, so you can get your run pass read and through to the back. Key and through to the back. Back can't lie, right? And then you've got your run pass read based off the shoulder alignment of the guard. Your first step will be the first one into the A gap, and then you are bouncing dependent on what you're seeing. Now, if you were to play it like you would on Madden, you'll just run into the A gap.
Yeah,
because all gaps are covered. But we know gaps get manipulated all the time by offensive personnel.
The A, B, and C gaps are also known as the Kardashians. Absolutely. Yes. Sometimes,
but yeah, we just say you fill windows. The terminology is you fit the run by filling the window, because if it's open, the running back's probably going to try and run through it.
Yes.
So you plug in open holes.
Yes. And depending on the strength of your line, that's where you decide the gaps for your offense and the type of running back you have. If you have a north and south runner, particularly your guy's going to run through the A or B. It depends on the strength of your line. Now, if you got a Barry Sanders type guy, he's usually going to be the C gap because he's east and west, and he's very lateral. He can move.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to know, this is why we always say you have to know your player's strengths and not the scheme. The scheme doesn't mean shit without the players. Again, Tom Brady and other coaches have said this. You take your X and O's, I'll take my Jimmys and Joes. So for anybody else out there who don't agree, you just call Tom Brady a liar.
You're never ever going to win with scheme alone.
You just called Slick a liar. For these people out there, I hope some of you
call me a liar. I tell you what, I can take a Tampa 2, right? Yes. And I've got the 99 playbook, like I've got a copy of it. And I can go teach that to, let's say, a bunch of guys, decent sized bodies, ready to play. That doesn't mean they're going to win a championship. Every defense is replicated up and down. Remember, it's copycat. They always say it's a copycat league. It's a copycat sport as well. Yes. So when a defense gets sexy, RPOs were all the rage once fucking Philadelphia made them popular again. Mm-hmm. I didn't even hear about RPOs for the first few years I started watching football. And then all of a sudden, Philadelphia went, we're doing RPOs, and everyone started doing RPOs.
Yep.
Right? And then that catches fire. Air raid became a really prominent force. A 4-2-5 defense, the nickel defense, all these things come into prominence because everyone copies it.
That's right.
That's fucking football. But it doesn't mean because you've copied the best that it's. I'm going to copy Alabama's defense, one of the best college defense, Nick Saban defenses in all of college football land. It doesn't mean I'm going to win a national championship. It doesn't mean fuck all, because even those you don't think that the defensive coordinator for Alabama goes and decides to coach. Let's say for the sake, he decides to go to maybe we won't go to SEC, but let's say he decides to go and watch Coach Cal, and takes that defense with him, which you would, because you would. He ain't winning a national championship. You still need the dudes. Someone asked me once and said, "How come you guys got better?" I said, "Well, it's a combination of a couple of things, but mostly we've got better players."
There you go. And that's something that a lot of people
And
do
more
not like
coachable
to.
players, because now if you've got coachable players, you can teach them the scheme, and that gives them tools to be more successful. Because that's
That's right.
essentially what a scheme is. It's giving them a set of tools that you believe in culturally will work,
Yes.
that they can use to win football games. That's essentially all it is. It's a blueprint on how to win.
As you guys see, it's all about bringing the best out of your players. That not only applies to players, but the coaches. If you have a team like Slick said, what if your guys are a 3-4 defense type of material, but you want them to do a 4-3? You want them to run a 5-2 or a 4-6. You're sabotaging people's careers because of your ego. That's all we're trying to say. And this is what I'm trying to tell for people out there who are on TikTok, who have challenged me about certain shit, because I'm telling you from a place of football logic and what has been written, what has been done, Slick. I've been trying to explain to people the shit that I'm giving you. It's not nothing new. As Slick said, it's been done. So what makes you think these players that you all worship and all certain fans, I'm like, this shit has been done already. And just like them, the league is it's a copycat league. People get caught, people get adjusted to. That's what it's about. Because people are mad at me, Slick, that I said if the Bucs stay healthy and they stay aggressive, they're not winning, they're not losing less than 3 games, 3 to 4. I said the floor is 13, the ceiling is 15. Well, why is that? I said if we're healthy, you just talked about defenses and linebackers. Last year, Sabassier goes out against Detroit. Levante does it by himself most of the season. Imagine this. Let's say in a real world, Sabassier, Slick, can give us 10 to 11 games. 10 to 11 games straight, 10 to 11 straight weeks. And let's say he might miss like 3 or 4 down the line. But can you imagine Sabassier, Levante, and Vita and Kancey stay healthy and a rotational edge rush?
Mm-hmm.
And then now we have.
I'm hoping if Hassan Reddick becomes what we hope he is, and
yes,
Yaya Diaby takes that step that we're all expecting him to.
Yes,
and Kancey keeps doing Kancey things.
That's right.
There's no reason this defense becomes almost, and I say this lightly because I don't want to say it will be, but that 2001 to 2020 season.
I understand what you're saying, and it's not a stretch because now we have the pieces. We're in win now mode, and this offense. For anybody out there hating, the Bucs is a top 3 offense. I said what I fucking said. Again,
yeah, I know, and with Emeka Egbuka, I don't like saying that a guy is going to put us over the edge because he's a drafted player, but he's also going to add some fit. It's not like we got a bum, right?
Right.
He even if he's slow to acclimatize, he's going to have some sort of value.
That's right. Well, we also another thing, second-year players will be developing, Slick. I told you,
yes,
I got a lot of faith in Broswell. I got a lot of faith in Broswell. I think
I know you've been banding that name around. I think that's a good one. What if he has the sophomore step and it's almost like, oh wow, now we've got 3 guys. You go from having no guys last year to having 3 guys ready to roll.
Now and now that's Bo's wet dream. You know what he gonna do? Oh shit, I can step out of there and do all kind of secret coverages and shit. Yeah, it's exciting. You know this is what I'm talking about. So, and we got the dude in here because I can't wait for him to get in here because this next topic, Slick, I want all of us to talk about this shit because this will determine a lot of people out there. For you watching out there, we're really going to test your football IQ. And if you comprehend the game and facts over feelings, if you continue to put other players' dicks in your mouths, I can't take you serious. And yes, it's going to be a lot about you bitch ass Eagle fans out there because you get on my fucking nerves because you come in my lives just because I don't dick ride your players. That doesn't make them the fucking best. Okay. Again, y'all motherfuckers ain't special. You know what you've been doing you know what wins championships for the past 100 years in the NFL? Fucking defenses. Okay. The team usually that has the most stacked talent and complete team, usually the most complete team wins shit. It takes your most complete team to get you to the regular season. Yes,
that's why trap games only exist because teams think that they're going up against a lackluster team and they've got them.
There you go. That's it. So do you hear that? Because I have been catching flack left and right.
Generally think that Casey had a trap game in the Super Bowl. I know that sounds insane when you think about it, because trap games are supposed to be bad teams, but I think they were so used to winning the Super Bowl because they had 1-2 already. It is like, yeah, we're going to win this game because we've fucking done it. We're fucking here, you know. And I think that's why it's hard to do a three-peat, because the first time you're like, oh my God, we did it. We fucking amazing. Guys, we got to fucking replicate this. Let's fucking work hard. And you do it. To do it a third time, it's never been done, right? In the history of the NFL, it's never been done. It's been done. But that's because complacency from other players. It happens in basketball. Do you know what happens in basketball? There are less players to control.
Mm-hmm.
You only got your starting fucking 5. You've got a starting 20 fucking 2. All it takes is one of them to have a mindset like, fuck it, yeah, man, we got this. You ain't winning no championship.
That's right. And that's another
thing. I think Kelsey, fucking all of them, I think they all believed they had it in the bag until they didn't.
I agree. And reality hit. But I'm glad you brought up basketball. This is why, Slick. We know this. If you don't know the fucking game out there, ladies and gentlemen, basketball and football are totally two opposite ways of taking over. They're not in the same league. In basketball, one man can take over because he plays offense and defense. In football, it takes the entire thing to run. Prime example, Slick, you need 4 wheels to drive a fucking car, not 3, right?
I mean, you can try. You ain't gonna get very far.
And you're not gonna get far. Yes, you can try, but you won't get far. You
might fuck the car up further.
Yeah, exactly. And there's always 2 different types of ways we judge teams and players. We select certain players, like, you know, this by their single achievement, what they've done at their position, what makes them best, and what they can do for the entire team. Then we validate the team as a whole. So you can validate 2 things, okay, ladies and gentlemen? It's not one or the other. You got to understand that. So this is why this topic is going to be so fucking good. And yes, it's time, dude. It's time to be rude. Come on in, talk your shit.
Rolling. Keep rolling. Keep rolling. Keep rolling. Hands up, back up. Tell me what you gonna do now.
Oh, hey, AJ Slick, thanks for jumping on and doing the live stream tonight. We have posted the link on TikTok for our Eagles fans. I know you're going to have to take time from eating your cow manure and horse manure fucking sandwiches, but we need you to come on here. We need you to, I don't know, pull up. We need you to flex the muscle that you used to boast about from the 700 Club. Now, Eagle fan, you can say all this, you can say all that, but here's the facts. Stats for quarterbacks, stats for defense, they all factor into the overall outcome, but they all only add up to one of the, if not the most important stat, which is wins and losses. So, Eagle fan, while you're sitting there crafting a response, or you're waiting to jump on AJ's next live over there on the talk, let me help you save some time. I'm here to help you budget your valuable, expendable time. If you're going to jump on one of our lives and talk about the Eagles are way better than the Buccaneers, that's cool. Let's check the stat sheet. Or, as an infamous Buccaneer quarterback once said, let's check the sheet. Overall record, Buccaneers 13 wins, Eagles 11. Okay, conversation over. We beat you head to head over the course of the last, 45, 50 years. Recently, we've owned you. And yes, You won a Super Bowl against the Chiefs. You literally, Eagles fans, and you ain't going to like this, guys. You looked at what the Buccaneers did to Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, and you replicated it. You copied it. That's okay. We didn't put a trademark on that shit. We were just helping the rest of the league out. Notice that no other team since the Buccaneers was able to do this to the Chiefs, at least in that fashion. But Eagles, we appreciate you unknowingly supporting our franchise by just replicating, duplicating, and straight up jacking our game plan. Jalen Hurts, if you've got more rushing touchdowns than throwing touchdowns, are you a quarterback? I'll let that linger in the air for a second. Again, 13-11. Playoffs, we're head and head. We're locked in, tied record. So overall, we got that ass more than you got this ass. And we did it without filling our mouths full of shit. We did it without jumping on your live streams and pumping our chest. Now, keep in mind, the guys on the Eagles fan base or podcasters or content creators, whatever fancy fucking name you want to give yourself, you're pounding your chest like you're part of the team. First of all, you're closer to a bowl of Jell-O than you are an athlete. I've seen you. You look like Paul Blart ate Paul fucking Blart. So, for the fan base that is Philadelphia, congratulations. Seriously, congratulations on winning the Super Bowl. More importantly, congratulations on exercising the demon that is the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, the coach you let go because you said he sucks, and now he's got more Super Bowls than your whole fucking franchise. But that's okay. You were able to get his kid addicted to drugs, so I guess you got that on your fucking side, Philadelphia. That said, Jalen Hurts, I don't got a beef with you personally, bro. I feel like you're probably more of the kind of quarterback I would like to have personality-wise. You ain't out here talking shit, making TikToks, or having your brother dance on the internet, or your wife making political statements for you, Patrick. But what I will say is Philadelphia's, motherfucker, pick a shade of green.
Yeah.
Dark green, light green, Kelly green. Dude, the only green that matters is money, money, money. And here's the difference between the Bucs and the Eagles. We're money when it comes to being in the Super Bowl. We're unfucking defeated in Super Bowls. You're not. You've got more losses than you do wins in Super Bowls.
Yeah, 2 and 3.
Okay? So, I'll just lay it out like this, like I told my buddy AJ a couple days back. He brought up basketball earlier. I'm a basketball fan, not of the current state of the game, but a basketball fan nonetheless. So, let's do a couple crossover sports comparison. The Buccaneers are undefeated in the Super Bowl, which is like the NBA Finals. The Philadelphia Eagles have a losing record in the Super Bowl, which is like the NBA Finals. So translation, ergo, the Buccaneers are Michael Jordan and you're fucking LeBron James, okay? You're the ones that can't come to grip with the fact you're bald. We're the ones that leaned into it, shaved our head, and kept kicking ass and haven't lost. You're the ones that get proud about hanging the banner that you got there instead of hanging the banners that you won there. All right. Now, the city of Philadelphia, been there 1,000 times. Smells kind of funny, but most inner cities do, just because, I don't know, y'all don't know what the fuck deodorant is up there in the Northeast. That said, great sandwiches. Cheesesteaks, #1 sandwich. I love it. Good job. Thank you. Cream cheese, you nailed it. Sports fans, y'all suck. All right? You booed Santa Claus. You threw batteries at Santa Claus. You cheered when a man laid on your field with a broken neck. Just because, well, he's a rival. No, he's a human. My question is, are you? Okay? And the reason I question that again, I go back to humans don't eat excrement, but Philly fans celebrates it. Buccaneer fans win a Super Bowl. We hold a parade with boats on the water. We drink all kinds of great alcoholic beverages. we have fun. Philadelphia wins a championship. You burn down your fucking city and you eat cow poop. As Kendrick Lamar would say, they not like us. Okay? So, Philly fan, if you want to come to the table and argue, debate, posture, act tough, that's cool. But remember, you, your mom, your dad, their parents, and their parents' parents, and every fucking neighbor around you living in those shitty ass row houses, you know, where you can hear the guy fart in the next fucking house. You worked your lives off, the whole life, your finger to the bone, just to save enough money to come retire in the poorest part of Florida. You spend your entire lives pining to come to the Sunshine State. You plan your family vacations. You use Disney World. I'll take you to Disney World, son, if you quit fucking with the teachers at school and you get good grades. You spend your entire life fantasizing about being down here. And if we look at Super Bowl records, now we know why. You want to be us, but you can't, so you talk shit about us. But that said, you're standing on top of the mountain at the end of last year. No one can take that from you. I, full disclosure, wanted you to win that for two reasons. Fuck Kansas City and the NFL. And now you guys can finally sit at the same table we're sitting at.
Woo. Bars.
Okay? We saved you a seat. You've been a team longer, yet it always takes you longer to get your first Super Bowl. It took you longer to get your second Super Bowl. We have a winning record against you. What the fuck are you trolling us for? You should be trolling somebody I don't know.
Dallas,
who hasn't won a Super Bowl since the internet was invented.
Hell, troll the Commanders. You beat them, troll them.
Troll in your division, because here's the thing. While you're over here paying attention to us, the Commanders are catching up. Dallas at some point will quit stepping on their... No, they won't. Never mind. But the Commanders are coming, okay? And if I'm you, content creators from Philadelphia, I would be doing everything I can to talk Eagles football, because the Phillies suck, the Flyers suck. I'm sure if you have a WNBA team, they fucking suck. Translation is, two of the biggest iconic parts of your city are a broken fucking bell and a statue of a movie star fucking boxer. But keep talking your shit. Rocky wasn't real, okay? Your water, your air, your city smells like someone needs a dude wipe. Shout out to dude wipes. But what I will say is, if you come here and you take a shot at the Kings, you better not miss. Because if you do, we will speak facts while you speak bluster. We will point our fingers at our record against you. And what will you say? Well, yeah, but listen, motherfucking Fred Flintstone, there ain't no yabba dabba do here. 13 is more than 11. We won ours before you won yours on both occasions. One of those, we closed your fucking stadium down, which every NFL team thanked us for, because let's be honest, Veterans Stadium was a shithole inside of an outhouse, inside of a fucking abortion clinic, okay? And the turf at Veterans Stadium, that wasn't turf, that was green concrete. So, Philadelphia, step your game up, go troll the people who you're actually competing with, because as of right now, you're in our rearview mirror. We got you on the schedule. We're going to do like we did. We're going to let all those Eagle fans come down here, save up your dollars, save up your ducats, fly your Spirit airline fucking airfare down here, stay in a hotel, stimulate our tax base, walk into our stadium proud with your faces painted like a bunch of fucking clowns, and then go home with an L like you have recently, like the record says you most likely will. And when you do, go back and blame Sirianni because you wanted him fired. Go back and say, oh, well, Saquon isn't what he used to be. which is the shit you were saying when you signed him. Eagle fans, self-loathing is a sign of weakness. All right? And if you think about it, Eagle fan, that's all you really do is you bitch and moan, and then something good happens. So then you're like, I knew it all along. Dude, you're the reason the internet sucks. Okay? That's it. AJ, Slick, always a pleasure, never a chore. Eagle fan, on your knees from the back. Okay? Toss my salad, hold my pocket, all that good stuff. Buccaneer fans, I'm going to throw this in these two guys' ears. I know it's practice, OTAs, minicamp, whatever fucking label you want to put on it. But go to Greg Olman's Twitter feed and count the interceptions Baker Mayfield threw today. There's about 4. Now, it's practice, Bucs fans. And we already heard Baker say he's not going to shy away from trying to run and make plays. But ask yourself, is Baker about to step forward or backward on the turnover thing? We're hoping it's forward, but the defense has been picking him off in practice here lately. So I think that's something, at least at some point, we need to keep an eye on. That said, Hassan Reddick showed up. Hey, Eagle fan, even he knows. Okay? Even he knows where to go. Aaron Rodgers, Pittsburgh Steelers. You guys are fucking so stupid, bro. Did you not see the Jets? Mike Tomlin, you used to be held in such high regard. You had a moral principle. You had a standard. You had a type of player. And you sold that all to save your job. And I get it. You want to feed your family. But motherfucker, if you ain't made enough money by now to support your family and 10 generations ahead of it, then you must be on crack. And that's also would be the reason why you would sign Aaron Rodgers, because he got that ayahuasca hookup. So, Aaron, you're playing in a division now where they pride themselves on hurting quarterbacks. I've watched your entire career. You get all riled up and in a kerfuffle when someone touches you. What are you going to do when the Ravens pound you like a $3 whore twice a year? Are you going to make it to next year? Are you going to retire? An Eagle fan, why trade for DK Metcalf if you're just going to get rid of another wide receiver? Now they're just, instead of doubling fucking Pickens, they're just going to double DK. Pittsburgh, you've lost your way. Defense wins championship. Mike Tomlin's your coach. Aaron Rodgers is your quarterback. Do you see the problem here? And now you've got your best defensive player, or arguably one of them, holding out or upset. But you managed to pay the conspiracy theorist, the red hat thumper, the guy who is literally told the league he's on drugs, yet they refuse to test him and suspend him. But do go on about Ricky fucking Williams. Do go on about Tenard Jackson. You hypocritical sons of bitches, the NFL. Pittsburgh, I hope this is your first losing season under Tomlin. Ooh. And then when that happens, you can tell Tomlin you sold your soul to the devil and he dragged you to the gates of hell. This is the dude. I approve this message, and I don't care if you do or not.
Approved, crude, and rude.
Hey, look, I know he's never afraid to be crude, but again, Eagle fans, we hope you understand.
We got Eagle fans in the chat.
I
mean, you've probably gone now.
People who just want to talk shit. I didn't start.
Hey, if you want to talk shit, this is the place to be. Come on here and flap your gums.
Yes,
we don't mind, and it won't be hostile. It won't be hostile because if you can back it up with football, me and AJ will always listen. And we love debate, right? We love debate.
I love debate. But again, if you say some shit that contradicts one statement, I got to get you. Because Eagles fans, when I showed that video of how we put a mud stomp to Jalen Hurts, what was your first excuse, motherfuckers? Well, they didn't have A.J. Brown. We were missing a lineman. We were missing Deontay. What the fuck you expect us? Okay, but you're proving my point. He doesn't produce without quality talent. And we're not judging him for that. That's the first thing, Slick, I said from the beginning. Good quarterback. not elite.
What? Yeah, man, he's not elite. He's not elite.
And
He
this is
ain't
why,
put it. Come on, when did he?
and this is why this is
never,
a great topic right here, Slick. And I want you to, because again, maybe I have to think everybody else out there might not be football intelligent, or people don't understand the definition of words.
I mean,
So,
I think Eagles fans are just they're in love with their quarterback. He's a nice guy. He's a good dude. I think he's
yeah.
You want to follow him, like handsome dude.
Cool guy. He is a cool guy,
cool dude.
but I don't.
But
not fucking
you
elite.
got to look at the proof. Proof is in the stats, and I know if they'll turn around and go, "Wow, stats are just stats." Yeah, okay.
But stats don't matter to some of them, Slick. We literally had a guy say this. Stats don't matter. We said, wait a minute. Isn't winning a fucking stat? Isn't touchdowns a stat? So wait a minute. We're not saying stats matter. We're not saying it's the whole thing, but this is where you have to, context matters, Slick. You have to have football knowledge. We just talk about the Mike Evans people. We love when Mike Evans gets touchdowns. We don't give a fuck about him getting 190 yards. We don't care. That's a stat that's cool, but it's not as the touchdown stat is more important. We just said it. Jalen Hurts in his other Super Bowl, Slick, ran for 3 touchdowns, but threw for 1. Patrick Mahomes, Slick, threw for 3. Me and you both said that was the best Brady-esque Super Bowl he's ever played in. Again,
yeah, I mean he is playing with receivers that are at that level, right? That Brady played with.
Yes, and this is why this is a great topic, because again, people out there, I'm not trying to be harsh, so I want to give you a chance, because Slick, I want you to answer this question, because this is a good video. I want you to look at these pictures and you see greatness and elite. Give me your definition of elite. Slick, I just want to know, because I have mine, but I think it'd be best for you because you are qualified to say this because you're a coach.
Okay. I mean, looking at an argument can be made for pretty much most of them. I mean, you've got some absolute pioneers of the sport.
Yes.
Especially the two of the guys at the bottom are like their household names. Right?
That's right.
Mahomes is in that conversation because he's a quarterback. Dan Marino's in that conversation because he's a quarterback, as well as being great at what they do. But the interesting thing I find about this is, did you know Dan Marino is a perennial loser when it comes to chips?
Yes, he's 8-9.
He has never won at high school. He's never won at college, and he's never won at the pros. And he is considered to be one of the greatest passers of the football of all time.
That's right.
I'm not saying he's the GOAT, but he is considered to be one of the greatest and cultural quarterbacks of his time.
That's right.
So this whole like championships matter. Yeah, they add a credibility to your resume.
That's right.
Larry Fitzgerald never won a Super Bowl. He's going to the Hall of Fame.
That's right.
But it adds to your resume. Now, here's the thing I always thought, and I always found fascinating. Let's say Julio Jones was on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay, even better way. Does Antonio Brown get a Hall of Fame? Does he go to the Hall of Fame?
He probably will, but it's going to take some time.
He's going to be old, senile, in a fucking wheelchair by that time.
Right. But he is a Hall of Fame caliber receiver.
Right. Oh, for sure. The problem is his career was cut short for his own goofiness.
Yeah.
I think had he continued his career, we could be talking about him being one of the best wide receivers of all time.
Agreed. 100%.
That's how sad it is that his career went the way he let it go.
Right.
But I think greatness is, this is a perfect picture because these guys are all great in different ways. Like, you've got a guy who revolutionized the cornerback position. Cornerback was just a position that was played in football. It was about as interesting as the fullback position.
Yep.
Right? Fullback position is probably the horriblest position to play in football. You get your ass pounded to pieces, and you get. Are you seeing the money they make? They barely make $1 million. They barely make $1 million. So back in the day, he put cornerbacks on the map. Cornerbacks got paid because that man right there.
That's right.
Ray Lewis was considered, I believe, at the time, undersized for his position.
Sort of, yeah. They thought, and yeah,
too short, right?
Yeah. That was also Derek Brooks as well.
Yeah. And he broke the mold, and he became one of the most dominant linebackers, the most dominant linebacker we've ever seen. And I don't think we'll ever see anyone as good as him. I don't care what anyone says. He brought something in his leadership, the way he spoke. He was just likable, and he had that coolness about him, just like Deion Sanders, but he had a nastiness that made you respect him. Deion Sanders was all flash and sexiness, the way he played. Like it was sexy football. It was oozing charisma. And then you had the other guy who was like thunder to his grease, so to speak. Like a pounder, I think, point out his shot. I'm killing you today. I'm putting your ass on the floor today. You ain't getting up. Your dick is in the dirt. And he'd do it. And he'd do it with swagger.
That's right. I agree.
Patrick Mahomes is probably the guy who's in the beginning of his journey. He's got so much more journey to go.
Yes, sir.
Which is going to be fascinating for us to watch. Who's number 8? Is that fucking...
That's Trent Dilfer. And I'll get to that in a second.
The picture's so small, I'm not looking at it on the phone.
I'll get to that in a second, Slick. The reason why I'm glad you...
I know why you're going there. Because he won at multiple levels.
Yeah, he won.
He won at every level.
This is what Slick and I have been trying to explain to people. And not only just dumbass Eagle fans, of course. And again, it's other people who I've talked to, Slick. You can't just say this, and this pisses me off to the fucking fullest. He just wins. What the fuck does that mean? That makes no sense. Explain.
Because I could explain if I said that and you said to me, just explain that, I'd say he's clutch in key situations. That's what I think he just wins means. Well, to me,
I love, but there's still context because again, Trent Dilfer won. Dan Marino is far better than Trent Dilfer ever.
100%.
But
it's not even close.
According to people's logic, Slick, Trent Dilfer should be an all-time elite great quarterback because he won. Did he win one with Miami? No, he won one with the Ravens. The 2000.
No. I mean his college. He was a Hurricane, wasn't he?
Let me see what that motherfucker was. I don't think he was, but either way, Trent Dilfer.
I think he won at the. I'm just thinking because he won at the. I'm sure he's won at the college level too, at national.
I just remember him in Florida, in Tampa, and he was ass for us.
Yeah, he was awful.
Ass for us. And when I mean ass, it was just. He went to Fresno State. No, so yeah, he definitely won.
Okay, he's never won. He's never won a.
Yeah, he ain't never been.
He ain't won a national championship.
Yeah, but see, to me, the greatness and elite status, Slick, is like you said, someone who revolutionizes the position, brings out the best, no matter what is at his disposal.
I mean, it's criminal that Dan Marino doesn't have a Super Bowl.
It's criminal, and it's not his fault, Slick. Again, he did not. When I've asked people when it comes to Dan. Who was he throwing to? Most people can't even tell me. And then what makes it worse?
If I remember, he had one great receiver, and the rest were all
Mark Clayton. But
Clayton, I met Mark Clayton one time. He was cool.
Yeah,
really cool dude.
I'll say this though, Slick. Here's the funny thing. I've asked them, name me their defensive players. They cannot give me the.
No, they didn't.
They didn't have it.
Did they still have Mercury back then?
Barely.
The running back?
They did, but I think he was. Don't quote me on because I could be wrong, but I think he was on his way out. But I'm talking about overall team to help Marino get to the promised land. He didn't have that luxury. Let's be real. If we're gonna be real, Dan Marino. You know what quarterback who almost went through that situation, but luckily the organization stepped up and got him help, not only on offense but defense. You know what quarterback that was, Slick? You know who? Peyton Manning. If Peyton Manning didn't get a Dwight Freeney, a Mathis, or a Bob Sanders, or a Cato June, and then not have Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison, Peyton Manning would have been Dan Marino because
they knew the limitations of the team, and they were like, okay, this guy's going to be good if we keep the offensive coordinator, and we bring in a defensive-minded coach. Who's gonna take average players and make them better? Because you can do that. This is what coaching does, and this is what scheme can do. The right scheme that fits can make average players good. The good coaching makes them better. It adds to their level. So all of a sudden you went from I've got an average defense. Now they're above average. And then my guys who are, I would say, very good, I've now turned into studs, like absolute diamonds in the rough, so to speak. Like diamonds in the rough, or really good superstar level players, because now they're playing in a defense that everyone's clicking with, everyone's working into, because it fits the team.
There you go. There you go. That's what it's all about. And that's why Dan is not Dan. We recognize that because people who know the game of football knows there's context to everything. I said it earlier, ladies and gentlemen, it takes a complete team to help you get there. We know defense wins championships, but usually you have to have a more well-rounded team. You don't have to always have superstars, but if you have a team that has good rotational players, you're healthy, and it makes a difference. So I said what I said. Greatness to me is about what you do. You bring the best out of yourself and you influence your players and your teammates, regardless of the situation. Mike Evans had so many different caliber quarterbacks, and the common denominator is him. So when we and Slick has said this before, and I'll say it again too, when people say, well, 1,000-yard seasons are easy, if that's the case, why hasn't every receiver done it? Well, they had a bad quarterback, and there we go, right back to my point. So this is why you see when I say those things, Slick, and people literally go back and say silly shit, it's like, wait a minute, the narrative has to be the same for everybody else, unless there's a certain context.
So why was Calvin Benjamin a really bad? He was drafted the same year. Why is he so bad? Like,
right.
He had Cam Newton throwing him the fucking ball all his career. Right. The whole fucking time he set foot, he put cleats on. He had he had a All-Pro MVP level quarterback for him in the football. He couldn't get it done.
Because he was Eddie Lacy of wide receivers, too busy fucking shoving his face with food.
Sure, brother. And I'm sure we can go around and look at wide receivers that never made it.
That
should have made it, right?
Should have been good. And again, when your receiver is consistent, Randy didn't do it like that. These are other great receivers. But again, Evans is special in his own way because he is the model of consistency. That is great. You cannot say that that's not great. He doesn't. And again, his touchdown specials. This is what we tried to explain to people. That is what gets him to the big leagues. He's top 10 of all time. He's going to surpass Tony fucking Gonzalez, who's a Hall of Famer. He's going to be there. And like Slick said, if he just plays 2 years, if that man gets between 15 to 18 more touchdowns, he's already in the top 5. You cannot deny that. This is the
ball. You got the ring. You got the ring to go with it too. You got the hardware to go with it.
He's got the ring to go with it, and he's about to surpass. If he surpasses Jerry Rice,
here's my crazy bit of, and I've said this. We spoke about this before about Mike Evans. If Mike Evans becomes Hall of Fame eligible, I think it's 4 years they got to wait.
Yeah, 4 years.
All right, so 4 years. If his streak has not been broken by the time he hits the Hall of Fame, his streak is still intact. You've got to put him in. A guy's got an actively running streak that none of these elites have broken yet. That might be because of when they came into the league, and it might be because of X, Y, and Z. But they haven't broken it yet.
They haven't broken it yet.
That
and mind you,
instantly gives you a level of credibility when you're making that argument at the table. Why should we put Mike Evans in? Well, he's top 5 of all touchdowns. Where does he rank in the yardage? Oh, well, he's top 20. Okay, cool. How many Pro Bowls has he got? This many. Okay. Does he have a Super Bowl ring? Yes, but he's got one other thing. He broke Jerry Rice's record. Oh, shit. Fuck.
Right. Oh shit.
How close is the next guy up? He's about 3 seasons off. For the sake of, I'm just being kind.
Right. Oh, he's 3 seasons off. Ooh, that's still, if it's 3 seasons, that means damn, because those next 3 seasons ain't guaranteed. Like you said.
Exactly. Exactly. So you then turn around and go, okay, cool. Right.
Yep.
We're gonna have to put him in. Like, there are no two ways about it. Wallpaper Man of the Year nominee multiple times. Any
off-field issues? No. Oh, so this is why you got to understand the definition of words, ladies and gentlemen. The problem in this era of sports, not just football, but sports, there's elite and then there's sorry. That's not how sports work, ladies and gentlemen. There's tiers to everything. It's not one or two. You're gonna have your guys that are not
Mike
so
Evans.
good.
I'll say this, and this might raise a few eyebrows. Mike Evans has never had a complete elite season. Do you know what he has had for his entire career? Extremely good seasons, and that's what makes him elite.
That's right.
It's not the fact that he's been the top 5 or the top dude. That's the argument against Mike Evans. He's never been the guy any year, and they're right, 100% right. But you know what he has been? He's been the few for his entire career.
Mhm.
But he was the second best rookie wide receiver, and an argument could be made for that. But I'll live with that. And then since then, by 1 or 2 years, he has been him the whole time. He's been a touchdown leader. He's been in the top 5 of touchdowns 4 or I think 6 times in his career. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not looking at the information right now, but he has been, like, from the yardage. Yeah, an argument can be made. He's not a wide receiver that gets high volume yardage. Okay, cool. But he's been the top 10 in the top 5 of wide receiving touchdowns 5 times in his career. Why does not count for fucking anything?
It's funny you mentioned that because Slick, people say that, but guess what? When you talk about elite season, technically speaking, in 2018, Mike Evans wasn't top. He was not. He was top. He was number 3. And guess who he was only behind? Julio Jones and DeAndre Hopkins. That's the year that he had that 1,500-yard season that a lot of people forget that he had.
What were the touchdowns on that?
He had 8 touchdowns. So it wasn't
that's the problem.
I
They
get
want
it.
them to have more, right? Yeah, that's the problem. That's the thing. But if you look at Julio Jones, his career is inflated with lots of yardage, but not many touchdowns.
That's
Like,
all I'm trying to tell people.
and
I
that's
say,
what
so which one
Mike
did you want?
Evans has had double-digit touchdowns. Why we're always talking about 1,000 yards? Why are we talking about double-digit touchdowns?
Because people that debunks people. Because that's the thing. I think Slick, a lot of people
1,000 yards with a double-digit touchdown. If someone turned around to me and said, "I can give you you got a choice of these 2 wide receivers." Okay, who are they? I'm not going to tell you their names. This guy's got 1,010 yards, but he has 12. He's got 13 touchdowns. Or I can give you 1,800 yards and 7 touchdowns. I don't even give me the touchdowns.
Give me
I don't win games with touchdowns. I don't win games with yards.
And there you go. You got Julio's of the world that show you that, guys. Julio's yards are astounding, but his touchdowns are 60. He's at 62. He's not even in the top 20, not even in the top 30. So what does that tell you? But then this is what happens, Slick, when people like me and you debunk their theory. You know where they go? They do the straw man game and they move the goalposts, or they do their other theory. This is what they like to say. Well, when he got in the red zone, the OC didn't throw it to him. You don't know what the fuck happened. And first off,
I'm sorry, the OC didn't throw it to him. You're telling me a guy with what's considered to have one of the best route running ability.
Yes.
And probably has the best one of the players on the team with the best hands. You're not going to throw to him. Why? Why wouldn't you throw it to your dude?
Slick,
I could understand it in the later part of his career, but I'll tell you the real not the real reason. Offensive coordinators don't say throw it to this dude. Quarterbacks make the decision to throw it to who they think's going to be open, or because there'll be certain plays where a player's the hot guy, the guy who should get the touchdown. We know that a different coverage could change the makeup of who's open. So right now you've got let's say you're running 3 crosses, and underneath you've got a slant on the opposite side. Your trips, 3 crosses, and I'll go with a hitch on the opposite side.
Mm-hmm.
The crosses might all get manned up very well.
Mm-hmm.
And that hitch is wide open. But because your hot route is on the trip side, you never see that.
Mm-hmm.
In this whole, the coordinator wouldn't throw it to him, and it ain't the quarterback. Quarterback throws to the guy who's open.
Well, more than
don't
that,
give me that bullshit. This is the NFL. This is the NFL. This isn't high school football where you have a dude and you go, "I'm going to throw it to him," and you're going to throw it to him.
Yeah.
This is fucking NFL. You are going to throw it to the guy who's going to get the rock and score for you. And it should be someone like Julio Jones. It shouldn't be Tyler Eifert, a fucking tight end that nobody can remember the name of, by me.
More importantly, it still debunks they don't realize it contradicts their discussion of his greatness. Hey, when Mike Evans is usually 70 to 80% in the red zone, they go to him. Why? Because that's his greatness speaking. That's who he is. How many times have we seen Jameis or even Baker throw that shit in double coverage? I know I saw it. The Jaguars game 2 years ago. He threw that, he zinged that motherfucker. And mind you, Evans had 2 people on him, but he still caught it. So, according to their
I'll tell you what I'd love to see, and I think I'd love to see this stat, and I'd love to see it stat for all wide receivers. Yards gained via flag, pass interference flags.
Oh yeah, if you don't double, that's another thing.
Mike Evans used to get fucking flagged so much, it was almost frustrating because it was like, you're stopping my wide receiver getting into the game because every time he's like getting targeted for a pass, someone's dragging him onto the floor, and I'm like, okay, yeah, great, we got the fucking first down because of the thing, but fuck, that would have been a touchdown if that fucker didn't fucking drag him down. And I get a tactical flag. I even coach my guys to do it. I said, if you're one-on-one with a dude and you can't cover, you're at a point where you're beat, trip that cunt up. Trip him up. Because I would rather the flag, and it'll be, let's say, a 15-yard penalty at the spot or whatever, and even if they're deep enough, you still have free chances to get him out of fucking dodge.
That's right. Whereas
100%. If you let him go, he's running it in. If you know he's running it in, I don't give a fuck if you give up pass interference.
And shout out to JT Olsen with the stats. Thank you, JT. Thank you, brother. Mike Evans has the most yards via pass interference in NFL history. My Lord.
Where does he find this? I'm impressed. Well done,
JT. You are the man, JT. I appreciate you.
JT, you got to give us do a top 10 for us on that. I would love to see that. I'd love to see that.
And for anybody else out there, JT, you got to join me on TikTok, man. You ain't got to argue with them. You just, with your smooth voice, just go, you don't know what you're talking about, man. I got the facts right here. And speaking of the other thing, I'm going to bring this one last session up and we wrap this bad boy up. As we know, guys, I want you to bring this up because I got a lot of flack about this too. Oh, man, Eagles fans, again, they had their panties in a bunch. This is what they said. So Saquon wasn't that good. I said, now, mind you, I put a video Slick and said there's 3 backs that I'm going to take off because their lines were official and they had a well-rounded, solid team. That was Saquon, Terrell Davis, and Jamal Lewis. Now, mind you,
that makes me physically sick about this list.
What's up?
How come the White Wall of Dallas's running back isn't there?
Oh, Emmett?
Yeah.
Well, he didn't get 2,000 yards. Mind you,
that's what I mean. It makes you phizically sick that he has all those yards and he is the receiving. He has all the yards on all of them, but he never got 2K.
And he had a complete team. Now, mind you, when I explained to motherfuckers, my number one Slick was the juice is loose. He did it in 14 games. He did it in the 70s versus the fucking Steel Curtain. He did it against the Raiders, the most physical era of football where murder was damn near legal. Imagine OJ Slick in modern day football. It wouldn't be fair. He'd have 2,000 yards at least 3 times. Three times out of his career. Barry Sanders was the second most impressive because he only had 1 Pro Bowl lineman his entire career, Slick. I had to correct somebody else on that. They said, no, he had 2. I said, no, he had 1. That's not a big difference. It really is. Slick, you know this. If you have 2 solid Pro Bowler guys, that makes a big fucking difference. Eric Dickerson is another guy that was like that. Now,
Eric Dickerson is probably my guy, but I think low-key, OJ, the juice is loose, is 100%.
And then again, they didn't listen, Slick, because they was like, so Saquon was the only one with the most complete team. I said, no, dumbass. If anything, Terrell Davis had the most complete team on this list. His line was immaculate. He had John Elway for a quarterback. He also had Rod Smith on the other side. That was the most complete team. That's why Terrell's wasn't the most impressive.
Do you know I think low-key impressive?
What's up?
I'm gonna go with Chris.
Yes, CJ did his thing. He was good. CJ
Just to
was
do it on
another
that Titans team in that era where I mean, running the football was still prominent, and on a bad team, I think that, so. I'd like to give it Adrian Peterson, but the thing is, like, he was like I look back at it, and he didn't do much else, and that's the problem with the others. Like the other guys, like I can't see the names. Jamal Lewis, yeah. Jamal Lewis is impressive because it was like they weren't known for it, like, but that was the only offense they had, right?
Well, and again, they were also anchored by I think a Hall of Fame center. So don't get it twisted. I would take Jamal Lewis's impressive season over AP. Why? People said, "What you mean, AJ? He did that in the AFC fucking North in the early 2000s."
That's what I mean. I'm looking at, like, who did they go up against that made life difficult?
Oh man, he went up against the Steelers defense.
Yeah, no. That's why when I'm looking at this list, I'm like, okay, so who did this? Like, so Chris Johnson, he was in the AFC South, which was like the softest fucking. It's been the softest fucking division of football forever.
It was butt.
Yeah, for sure. So I respect the fact that it's 2,000 yards done by a player in a more closer to modern era where the passing still wasn't there, but it hadn't become the thing yet. So it's kind of cool that he's not a big name dude, because some of these guys are Hall of Famers, right? Chris Johnson's not going into the Hall of Fame, I don't think.
No.
And I don't think Jamal Lewis is going in the Hall of Fame anytime soon either.
No, but the rest of them are Hall of Fame caliber. But Saquon's is by far the weakest, and I told them he had a complete line, and also A.J. Brown can block as well. But when you have a complete team like that, if
they were a pass first team, you could make more of an argument for him, but they weren't. If you send fucking his passing yards for that year, he just got over 3,000.
And they had the mitigated.
That's like peak Peyton Manning numbers 20 years ago.
Exactly, and that's another thing. They got the mitigated gall to say, so Saquon's not one of the best of all. Get the fuck out of here. No, I'll take Derrick Henry before I take Saquon. I
think it's too early to crown Saquon anything yet. He's had really down years, so you gotta have like you said, consistency, right? Let's have it. I'm gonna pull up his stats now. We're gonna have a little snoop at Saquon Barkley, and there's no hate on Saquon. I think he's a great player. Let's get his full stats up. Okay. Last year with the Philadelphia Eagles, 2005, right?
That's right.
Then he went 962. Then 1,313. He's only had 2 really good seasons and 1 season where he got 3 yards above, right? So with his rookie season, he comes in, gets 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns. The next year, gets injured. He only gets 34 yards, no touchdowns. The following season, what happened in 2021? I don't know why they're not showing me that shit. But what I'm saying is, there isn't a resume to say that one season was great and it ultimated in a Super Bowl. That's the only reason I would say that you could make the argument for him, because it resulted in a Super Bowl.
There you go. But I'm still, again, we said most impressive. That's not.
Sure.
I know, but Eagle fans couldn't fathom they couldn't comprehend that. I said the most impressive, y'all. You can't tell me with a straight face that Saquon had the most impressive. He didn't. Fuck, Derrick Henry, his 2,000-yard season was a lot more impressive.
Okay, let's do this. That's kind of missing from this. I want to know the touchdowns for each of them on those seasons. That would really fucking set. That's where I think you set how good you are. Because if I got guys here with 8 touchdowns, I can give a fuck if you got 2,000 yards. But if you got yourselves 15 touchdowns, now you're turning heads.
I can look that up right now for you. I'm glad you brung that up. I got you on that. Let's look at Chris Johnson's stats. That 2009, he did good. He had 2,006 yards, 14 touchdowns. That's good.
Okay, so I'm looking at Saquon's. He got 13. There we go. So now this is what I mean. Adding the touchdowns really sets them apart. Like you say, okay, you got 2,000 yards. And this is my argument with Mike Evans, right? We're only looking at the yards. That they're empty calories. I want to know the meat.
And the funny thing is, the 2003 season that OJ had, I mean, the season that OJ had in 73 when he ran for 2,000 yards, he had 12 touchdowns. And he did that in the era of football where they ran 95% of the time.
Yeah, I mean, that's why sometimes it's hard to look at the old dudes, but at the same time, their wear and tear on the body.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
Defenses were built to just stop the run.
And peep this, Derrick Henry has 17 touchdowns when he ran for 2,000 yards.
Who was Derrick Henry? Derrick Henry's, sorry, how many touchdowns did Derrick Henry have?
17.
17. Here we go. So now we're starting to get levels. Argument can be made that he could beat Chris because I would guess that Saquon Barkley got more passing yards than him, but that would take some looking. And I don't want to keep going back and forth on this. But let's look at the great Barry Sanders. He could score from anywhere.
Oh, Barry. If Barry had, put it this way, if Barry Sanders had the Cowboys line, he'd be the greatest running back of all time. He'd have 30,000 rushing yards.
And maybe that's an argument because he had the purple people eaters. Yeah, the Bucs.
Damn, he had 11 touchdowns that year. 2,053 yards, 11 touchdowns.
Okay.
These guys.
ED. I'll do ED. You do Adrian Peterson.
Oh, Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson that year that he had the 2,000 yards. He had 12 touchdowns.
Okay. So we're seeing levels to this right now. This is good.
We are.
Good.
We're seeing levels. To me, his best year, Adrian Peterson's best year was 2009 when he had 1,383 and 18 touchdowns. ED
got himself the 14.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to whoever made this list. They made a good statement, but again, when I say the most impressive, I'm talking about the guy. We value people because here's another thing people love to say. It's like, oh, you're punishing them for having a line. No, we're not punishing them, ladies and gentlemen.
It's got to be added to the conversation, right?
That's right. It's a value. Well, it's a valuation. See, a lot of people don't like to look at this. Like I'm like, that's how you can. That's what separates the good back from the bad.
What everyone puts on Emmitt Smith. Everyone puts that shit on him. You're a good running back, but
we've seen other people do more with less. Again,
or do the same with less, right?
Do the same with less. Because I've told people this. What did Emmett do after he left Dallas? Well, he was old. It doesn't matter. You said that he was the guy. For him to be the greatest of all time, how come he couldn't get 1,000 with the Cardinals? Other players went to other teams and did the same. So we can't keep making excuses. Sometimes, Slick, it's the narrative that pisses me off. We get that you like the guy, but if he wasn't the best, he wasn't the best. You just said Mike Evans didn't have a complete elite season, but he was always very good. There's nothing wrong with that. You never said that, oh, this man was just completely the best forever. No, we love the game. That's not how it works. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we're trying to explain to y'all. When we talk about things, take the player that you love or your team, because they're on your team, out of the picture. You have to keep it real. There was no Buccaneers players on there for a reason. We've never had backs that are good as those guys there. The closest is maybe
I think we never really had the consistency of having a guy for an extremely long time for a good, like a 10-year career.
No, not at all.
All-star, he was probably the most complete back we ever really had.
Yes, and then done.
But he was a modern day fullback.
Exactly.
Modern day throwback fullback.
I know what you're saying. And it's two Warwick, and then there's one guy, and I know you know who I'm talking about. If he stayed healthy, I think he would have been one of the best. He would have been one of the best for the Bucs, Cadillac. If Cadillac stays healthy in the way that that would be a good conversation for another time. Which running back had the potential? 5 of them that could have been 2,000-yard season running backs. I got Cadillac being one of them. I can see that.
I think, guys, I think what we should say, we should do one of the most slept-on running backs that were elite that just didn't get the shine. And Warwick is one of them. Yeah, and Freddie T.
Freddie
T. If it weren't for injuries, Freddie T could be so fucking special.
When there's a Mount Rushmore of running backs in Florida, he's number one. And then you got Frank, and then that list can go. But Fred Taylor, as we know, a lot of people know he's the best running back from Florida. So we're not even gonna get into that one.
What? Here's a question one, because obviously you got the Seminole rivalry, and I think their NFL careers are very similar.
Yes,
both Warwick Dunn and Freddie T. Very, very similar. I think they might have done a little bit different in passing, receiving yards and touchdowns and a few of those things, but predominantly, what's the college like on that?
Well, Warwick Dunn in college, I'm looking at it right now. Warwick Dunn at Florida State was just, he was official. Yeah, Warwick Dunn and they're not showing his. Let me see his college stats. At Florida State, 3,959 rushing yards and 49 touchdowns. Damn. That and now let's look at Fred.
Say that again. So I just as you were getting up, I got Taylor's at 3,000. I got so for Freddie T, 3,000 and 3,075 with 31.
Damn. And 31
and 31 touchdowns.
Man, yeah. See, Freddie was official. Fred Taylor. Like
I'm not arguing. I've met Freddie 3 times, and he's an absolute gent, and he is a stud. I don't ever really want to own another player's jersey, but he would be one of those guys that I'd seriously considering it. I just don't know if I can get away with you.
I'll ask. I'm gonna look around. I'm gonna get one, and if I can, I'm gonna get you one.
You get a Gators one though, wouldn't right? You that Freddie team.
Oh yeah, not Freddie T in college. I'm gonna get him.
I'm talking teal, the Jags.
Man, I don't know.
You can't wear another team's colors, can you?
I know. But I can hang it up and be like, all right, if I can meet the man, just sign this, Freddie. I can't fuck the Jags right now because of Cohen's podcast. but he's an exception because he's Florida royalty. So
he is Florida royalty. And he got 15 all time on the list, rushing yards, 11,000, and he's got 74 touchdowns.
Yeah, again, the man's official. And he did
and that's
that.
on a dog shit fucking Jacksonville team. So that guy is the god of Jacksonville. Let's be honest.
That's why, ladies and gentlemen, context and skills matter in evaluation, because if you put somebody else on another team, they can do better. And for you Eagles fans out there who lack common sense, you should understand this, because Saquon came to your team. AJ Brown came to your team, and look how they performed better because they're on better teams. You see how that makes sense? In football, it's all about calculations, and that's just sports in general. So I leave y'all with that. Thank you for checking the Bucs Report out. The Aftermath on 102.9 The Game, Broad Street South Radio. Again, this ain't just about Eagles fans. This is about any fans who talk stupid shit. Again, facts over feelings, ladies and gentlemen. We are fans of the game, then our team. So if you are more than welcome, and we mean this, more than welcome to come on here and debate. This isn't here to personally attack you as a person.
No.
I will challenge you.
It's not our style. Like, if you can make good points, and like me and AJ don't always agree.
Yep.
There are times when we disagree, but we have the respect of each other going, okay, yeah, I see where you're coming from, but this is just my feeling. Because this is football, man. But the thing that makes this game so beautiful is there's a million different ways to skin a cat, there's a million different ways to win the game, and there's a million different ways to fucking lose it.
Amen, bro. So y'all take care. Again, AJ Turnup on TikTok. It's About Bucking Time YouTube channel. But as always, Slick, let's check out Slick. And again, support the Sunwell Steelers and give Coach Slick his props and give him an opportunity and go watch his games when he posted. As always, go Bucs. I'll holler at you, bro. My man. Take care of yourself, bro.
Take care of yourself, bro. I'll catch you soon.
Yes, sir.
Hey guys, that's the end of the show, and I really appreciate everyone who's commented. And hey guys, if you want to get involved and have a chat, it's not going to be a ganging up session that we're going to just try and make you feel like shit. It's not how we do. Be respectful. Come in, talk your shit. We'll debate it. It may get heated, but at the end of the day, we're all human beings. We're all just having a fun time, and it doesn't need to be fucking mean, does it? So that's about me. My team's just about to go into week 6. Week 6. We got week 6 next week, and we play the Staffordshire Surge. This is a team that got promoted when we got promoted because we had promotion and relegation in our league. We've already beaten them, but they are hot on our tails with wins. I think they've got 1 win more than us, but we haven't lost a game. We've drawn 2, they've lost 2. And we need to get this one. This keeps us on track. I don't think I've scouted so much in a while. I am going through everything that this team does. They're a single wing pistol type of team, and they just move their wide receivers everywhere. But we've got a lot of work to do, and hopefully we'll come away with this win. And hopefully, not next week, but the Wednesday after, we'll be talking about a victory. Hopefully a donut on it too. But on that note, Buccaneers are finishing up OTAs, getting ready for that preseason realness. And Hassan Riddick has reported for duty, and we are all ready for it because right now we need to make sure that pass rush is right. I'm a big believer that your pass rush is married to your coverage. Your coverage is also married to your pass rush. If your coverage can stick, it buys time for your pass rush to get home. If your pass rush is good, it forces the quarterback to be quicker, which means the coverage doesn't have to stick for as long. Put those two together, you cooking with gas. But on that note, thank you for everyone for joining in. Bucs on me, Bucs on free. 1, 2, 3, go Bucs!
I don't know what to say, really.